only in America is my story possible. A kid to grow up, dad who's fleeing a civil war, mom on a farm in Kansas, grows up in Silver Spring, first generation in that area, and worked in the White House and running for Congress and raising my family there. It's an American story.
So how does being biracial define or redefine your politics?
You know, I think it adds a needed layer of complexity and interconnectivity, which is what we need now in our politics. We need people that understand different sides and perspectives. And I think, you know, it's an issue in my race in particular, running to represent a very diverse community in a seat that has never had a person of color in it, this seat, but a community that is majority people of color.
When did you know you were black? I'm serious.
When
There
did
comes
I
a
know
point
I was
where,
black?
you know, or when were you in a situation where you were like, okay, I am a black man in society, and I need to
you know,
recognize that.
You know, it's funny. I actually remember the moment. I was in the 5th grade, walking from school to my mom's office. And this is in Silver Spring, in the heart of the district I'm running in now. And there was an older white lady on the street who I guess I didn't move aside or as much as possible. And it was just a narrow sidewalk. And coat kind of grazed her. And she said, you know, watch where you're going, you little N-word. You know? And I didn't. It just hit me. And I just said, whoa. And you know, that was when I went home, I was crying, I didn't know what
5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade. And I was very shook by it. Because, you know, my mom is my grandmother, let alone it was a little old white lady like that, and who I loved immensely, my only grandparent who I had, who lived in Kansas. And so it shook me, and I think that's when I really understood, hey, I'm a little different, and not everyone likes it. So probably an awakening that happens for a lot of people.
How did you get that? How do I be a black man today?
Yeah, it was.
Worldview.
Yeah, my mom was, you know, to her credit, she was very upfront about me early on. You know, she sat me down and told me, you're a black man, and in America that means that not all people will see you as good or as smart, or, you know.
That's pretty direct.
It was
She
very
had that talk?
It was very direct, and it was early on. The model for many fathers in patriarchal societies is to, even in America, is to be, you know, maybe not as involved on the daily side, and that was exacerbated when my parents divorced. And so my mother, you know, the president and I have talked about this, had a big influence on my life early on, especially after the divorce. And
Yeah, you have some similarities.
Yeah, I got an African dad, white mom from Kansas. My wife's name Michelle, so
Yeah.
it's pretty funny, you know. And I ended up, I have him beat now. I have 3 daughters. He only has 2. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of those similarities of, you know, working hard, achieving and excelling. You're in a country where that's expected, and so I do credit him with laying that as a foundation. But my mom, you know, had a huge impact in my life. We're at a critical time in history. I think we need new leaders that bring a fresh perspective and can build diverse coalitions to get things done, because we know what we need to do, but we just haven't been able to do it. Right now in Congress, many of our policymakers, we have more millionaires in Congress than there's ever been, 52%. 90% of our elected officials around the country are white. And well-intentioned are many of them, but you can't keep sending the same people from the same places with the same backgrounds and expect different results. So to build the diverse coalitions that are going to be necessary, I think you need real-life experience. I think you need to know how policy works and operates, but you also need to be passionate and be able to motivate others to come along and with you. And I think, you know, that's what I'm trying to do now. And I think there's a new wave of politicians that are going to need to have that to move us forward here.
Yeah.